we have doing the how we have talking about the controls. Okay, these are again the basic concept. When we are talking about the controls, today is what? Today is, it is 13th April. Okay, 2024. First, before going to that, if little bit recap about what we have done with respect to till now. We have talking about the internal controls, how it has to be there. What are the control environment, the 5 steps of control environment, and what are the components of control. That's a 5 components of control environment, and why internal controls are the use of internal controls are by the auditors as well. This is what we have briefly done. Okay, just I will go a quick recap what we have done. These are the 5 components of internal control: control environment, risk assessment process, information system, how the information system is structured. Okay, that is the, now people are talking about the softwares, how from one phase to another phase, from the initiation, from the basic transaction till the financial preparation of financial statements. That is the 3rd step. And in entire process, we should make sure that there should be a controls has to be there. Control activities have every process, every stage, every micro level. There should be we should have control at every stage. And not only we should have controls, we should also monitor the controls, whether the controls are effective or this is the core aspect of auditing. Is that this is the core aspects of auditing. Then we will say that definitely they will be in the next chapter. Subsequently, we will talk about what are the controls and test of controls in detail. Is it what are the deficiencies where companies will have controls, but every control will not be effective. Some controls are effective, some controls are ineffective. There is a deficiency. We should identify the deficiency, and we have to give recommendation that how these deficiencies has to be overcome. Okay, what is the solution to overcome this deficiency? You have
this will be covered in next chapters, right?
Yeah, it is there in the next chapter. Yeah, an exam. Yes.
Yeah, I mean the deficiencies and recommendations will be covered in next chapter.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, an examination point of view, it is very important, very, very important. Okay, one question.
Two stars on one point. Describe and explain 5 components of internal control system, and you said we have to memorize this. So we have to memorize the points or the other slides pertaining to this point.
No. Other see. I always say. Sometimes I will say memorize. Sometimes I will say understand. When I say memorize, means you should not get deviated from what it has been given. Very few instances I will say memorize, but most of the
so how can we structure our answer for this question?
Pardon?
How can we structure our answer for this question? Describe and explain 5 components.
I will tell you. Keep this in mind. The moment we start solving the questions, I have that. I have noted it down. I will get back to you when we are approaching the question answers. Okay. Now you are asking how it is. See, first and foremost, unless and we should how the control environment. These 5 steps they will ask you. See, when you are talking about the control environment, we will assess. When the moment you as an auditor you visit the client place, you will see that whether the controls are effective or not. You will see the environment, whether the environment is dedicated, committed to the people, or staff is committed to that, whether the senior management is committed to the control environment, where the controls have been in place. Is it? The controls are effective also. It's not only in place, but the control should also be effective. This is the control environment. Is it right? Now, once you have seen the control environment, you will see, based on that, if controls, there are effective controls are there, then automatically what will happen? You will assess on that basis what is the risk. If you see that the controls are effective, the risk element will be less. is that the risk element will be less. If that's the second one. The third one, you will see what is the information system, how it is going to be processed. Is that I've said that it has been prepared. You see, you any place, one person will prepare, one person will verify, one person will authorize, one person will update. Is it right? That is the information system. Now, when you are talking about the information system, be very specific. Is that be very specific about the thing. You are placing an order. Okay, you are placing an order, placing a sales order. When we are placing an order, what is the important thing? Who is placing the order? That designation is important. The author is having the authority or not. That is the control. Whether when you are placing the order, whether the list is approved or not. Is that it is a control. It is what we are talking about, the controls. Is that when you are placing the order, you will see that whether there is a credit rating or not. Is that approved list of suppliers, approved suppliers, to what extent we have to place the order. If you are placing the order, what is the amount of order? They say that at every level, you have different levels, is that? If the amount is 10,000, if the amount is 50,000, if the amount is 100,000, automatically the authority, at some point of time, if you are making a bulk, huge order, in terms of property, in terms of plant and equipment, then what will happen? What is the control environment? It has to be placed at the board of directors level. We have to, what we'll see, we will assess risk assessment process, whether the order has been placed by the board. These are the points which you have to make in the answer. That it has been placed at the board level, and we have to, what we'll do, we will review. Okay, we will review the board minutes that yes, it has been discussed or not. These are the things. The moment you are assessing the things process, automatically you will see that yes, things are well in place. This is the reason, because we are not going to say that these are the things which is going to have impact, but these are the directly related to what we are studying. We'll say what are the control activities relevant to the audit. Anything related to accounting is relevant to audit. Okay, we'll see that whether the internal controls are effective, and it is going to be effective with respect to the process that is taking place. And it is not a one-time process. Is it? It is not a one-time process that we have done every year, every time, every month. Is it? You have to review, you have to monitor. Randomly, you have to review whether it's happening or not. It happens with respect to the receivables, it happens with respect to the payables, it has with respect to the inventory. These are the core aspects. Payroll. Is that payroll? Payroll is one of the most important functions. Inventory, receivables, payables, cash, property, plant and equipment, especially plant and equipment. These are the things which will be focused, and in the examination they will ask maximum 3 or 4. Is that they will give you a scenario, and they will ask you, they will give you a scenario. The moment we start studying the scenario, we can assess these are the deficiencies are there, and for those deficiencies we have to give recommendations. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. This is what we are talking about. You have IT controls, you have application controls. Fine. What are the internal control? We have done this. We have done about the case study with respect to the food outlet. Why do auditors need? Because it helps them to understand, identify potential misstatements. Is it? That is why. What are the potential, the scope where there will be some misstatements. Is that? And I'm saying this. Yeah, it is very much important. Okay, you have to make a list. Okay, make a list. I have given the list. If I have given the list, you take the same list. Okay, wherever it is needed, at least in examination, at least as per the requirement, you have mentioned these things. it adds value to our paper. Fine. Now, this is what you say. There are 5 components are there. We have talked about the control environment, is it? Control environment and risk assessment process. This you have, see this what we have to do. This one we have to understand. Okay, this one, that what are the informations, the classes of transactions. Very important. Is that what is non-current assets? Nowadays people, the IFRS accounting talking about only 2 things. One is classification is very important. Current assets, non-current assets. Current liabilities, non-current liabilities. For the last 2 to 3 years, they are focusing on this very much. Is that they are focusing on this very much. When we are working with IFRS, we will cover this. Is it? These are the things which have been cropping up all the time during the last few years. Is it? That is, a classification is important. How we are talking in terms of current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Is that is may make the difference. Apart from that, you are talking in terms of authorization control. You will do the reviews, how the information is processing, when you are taking the backups, okay, who is processing the information. Most importantly, you will have master files. Is that you will have master file, you will have the transaction files. Little bit we have to think in terms of IT also, okay, information technology. See, as we are not specialist in that, but we should have basic knowledge. Is that you will have some master files will be there, you have transaction files is there. Master files are very restricted ones. These files should not be accessed by without any authorization, whereas transaction files, whatever, they will have a limited access to particular authority. Okay, you will have you can access, as simple as that. The staff can access transaction files, but everyone cannot access master files. Okay, that is the processing. How you have physical controls in terms of non-current assets, and most importantly, this is where you have segregation of duties. See, audit is very simple paper as such, if you know how to approach it. Is it? Now, this is what we are talking about, the control activities. Can you think examples of control act that would expect to find small independent bakery? Contrast this to the control act that you will expect to find in the large national supermarket. See, we are talking about the supermarket. See what happens if you are talking about the supermarket, small transactions will be there. There is a huge amount, frequency, number of transactions with respect to cash will be huge. Is that how we have to handle the thing? That is the reason you go to any supermarket, you go to any hypermarket, I will give you visualize the things. You will have different cashiers will be there. Is it? You will have different counters will be there. There will be one supervisor will be there. Is it? You will be one supervisor there. Yes, any cashier is doing some errors. Is it that some errors? I'm not saying mistake. Errors. He has twice swiped it twice. Then he doesn't have the authority. Is that? He will call the supervisor. Supervisor will come and he will unlock the system. Then the cashier will cancel. Then the supervisor will. Then you have to lock it. Then only once you have locked it, then you can process another transactions. This is what the control environment talks about. Simple example, that's make it think. You are returning, is that you have purchased it, but what is happening? You are returning, is that you are. I will not say returning the goods. You are exchanging the goods. Is that you are exchanging the goods? What will happen when you exchange the goods? Is that they will give you a credit invoice. Yeah, they will give the credit. They will not deal with cash. Okay, they will give you credit invoice. This credit invoice you can exchange maximum. I'm just giving an example. You can exchange within 30 days. See, this is the process. This is what the control. These are the points which you are going to cover in the question sessions. Is that what it says? We are talking about the when you are talking about the control activity in a small independent store. What are the most important things which you have to work it out? Any cash, daily banking, you have to deposit the cash at the end of the day. I am not saying at the end of the day. Once we are saying at the end of the day, it means not at the end of 10 o'clock. Is that next day morning? Is that next day immediately the first task is you have to deposit that cash in the bank. Okay. Nowadays you have the swiping machine. Slowly and steady over a period of time, you see the thing. The physical cash movement is becoming less. The plastic money, the virtual money, the mobile transactions is becoming more and more. The digital transactions, I put like this. The digital transactions are becoming the order of the day. Is that that's what we are talking about, daily banking. You see the CCTV camera, wherever there is a cashier, is that wherever there is a teller, is that you will have CCTV cameras will be there. Nowadays, everywhere, is that the moment you are entering, you will have CCTV cameras everywhere. This is the order of the day. This is the normal practice every business is doing, is it? Means you should have alarm system when shop is closed. You have in car, is it? Nowadays people have that in the in car, is it? We customize the things. The moment somebody is opening the car, immediately it will give you sound. Is it? Likewise, there should be alarm system. Is that when shop is closed? Means there should be a log, okay? When you have been closed, when you see the bank, is it? You see the bank. Whenever the bank is open, whenever the bank is closed, whenever the safe, is it right? Safe is open or safe is closed. Not one person will do. It will be done by more than one person. That means you should have proper controls will be there. Agreement of taking to till roll whenever you are counting cash. One person should count, one person should verify. Two people should sign, segregation of duties. That two people should sign. That is the segregation of duties. Agreement. Then only what will happen? There will be a proof. These are the control activities with respect to small business. Is that? Now, control activities with respect to big supermarkets. Is that? Control activities with big supermarkets. See the thing. Daily banking of cash by security firm. You have a separate people will be there. Designated people. Is it? Separate designated people. Staff. I will not say staff. Staff will be there. Who is responsible to deposit the staff? To deposit cash. See, you see the things. I will tell you very clearly. ATM. Is that ATM? Hardly you will see that ATM when the cash is been refilled. Okay, when the cash will be refilled. But very few cases, I will tell you this. Very few instances you will come across. Once in a while, the ATMs will be refilled. When ATMs are refilled, the bank staff will be there and the security people will also be there. Is that? Security people will also be there. That is the reason we are talking about the whenever daily banking of cash by the designated staff. You have CCTV cameras, security guards in all stores. These are the things which you have to think about internal control. You have to do weekly reconciliation. I can say, they will say weekly reconciliation. We cannot do reconciliation on a daily basis. Okay, we cannot do reconciliation on daily basis. Either you do it on a weekly basis or in most of the time we will do in monthly basis. You have a computerized inventory system. Is that what we are using? Now we are using barcode reader. Is that barcode reader? You see the thing. The concept self-checking is there in most of the places. You have self-checking is there. Automatically what will happen? You have, it's an inventory system. Automatically inventory will be updated as per the things that has been processed. You have a periodic inventory checks, floor to sheet and sheet to floor. What does it mean?
It means, I think, reconciling the physical inventory with the inventory recorded in the system.
Yes, exactly. Is it? You have to maintain. You have to what is the physical inventory? Is it a physical entry? Physical inventory versus a recorded inventory. Controls over self-service checkouts. Okay, controls over self-service checkout. See the things. You have this. Nowadays they have started. Okay, observe this. The moment you are observing, you have somewhere you have in Lulu. Is it right? What you will have? First you will swipe. Okay, first you will swipe. Then they will be in. Besides, you will have one tray is there. You have to keep. Once you have swiped, you have to put it in the tray. Once you have swiped, you have to put it in the tray. Is that you have swiped 5 items, in the tray there should be 5 items. Okay, fine. There also you will have a camera. Okay, CCTV will be there everywhere. Okay, once you have done, then you will have an exit gate. Okay, you physically observe this. Automatically you will understand the subject. Is that you physically think about it? Automatically you will understand what will happen the moment you have the gate. Is it right? You swipe your bill. Okay, you swipe your bill, but there is a bill. On the bill there is a barcode reader. You swipe it a bill, the gate will be opened, you can come out. This is what self-service checkouts. I told you, if you have time, there is a very popular, very famous video is there, Amazon.go. Is that when you see this, automatically you will understand. Is that I told last class also, you just see the thing, how it is working with respect. It has been started, implemented long time back. Is that full vetting of prospective employees. Whoever is joining, you should have a proper screening. Okay, you should have a proper screening that yes, the background check should be there with respect to the prospective future employees. Price check of all goods on sale against competitors. Is it right? There should not be a price discrimination. Is it right? There should be a uniform pricing. Is it? There should be a uniform pricing. Plus or minus will be there. I'm not saying that. Plus or minus will be there, but a small percentage of difference. Is it right? You cannot have a huge difference or huge discounts you can give. Okay. Analysis of electronic POS data, point of sales. Is that we will see what happens. What if you will find. Okay, you will divide it. If you take into consideration. If you are taking into consideration, you are saying that it is from morning 8 to night 12. Okay, how many hours are there? It is almost 16 hours. Is it right? It almost 16 hours. We will analyze. Yes, morning hours sales will be less. There will be a peak time will be there. Is that there will be a peak time? Sales will be more. Is that there will be a low time? Is that the sales will be less? We will analyze. According to that, automatically we get an idea. Is that these are all the things. Health and safety audits we will do. Is that health and now I told you health, safety and environment. Every company will have. People are there who will check the pricing, packing date and expiry date. Is that the people are talking about health? People are they will see. Is that they will see how you are handling the fresh foods, how you are handling the frozen foods. Is that how you are talking about the foods which have been going to be there for more than a longer period? Is that processed foods? Likewise, they will have the health and safety standards will be there. Now, people are also concerned about health and safety audits. Full recording of all health and safety incidents. If anything happens, you should have a log. Okay? If anything happens, everything you should have a log. Is a check of staff leaving premises when they are in and when they are in and out of the staff is very important. Clocking in and out by the staff. See, checks of staff leaving the premises is different. Clocking in and out is there. This is when you are coming in and when you are going out. In between, if people will leave see what happens, if some companies are there, is that some companies, even after COVID, it has been very strict, procedures has been very stringent, okay? I will not name the companies, but companies are there. The moment if you are going on a leave, you come back, should have submit a medical report. Is that a person coming from outside, they should be clearly screened, medically screened, then only they are supposed to enter the premises. Is that these are the controls you are putting, and they will say how for what reason, for how many hours, to whom they will not give access to the restricted zones. Is that there is some specific access for the visitors. Likewise, these are all control activities. You visit any manufacturing unit, they will say that without the safety gear, okay, you have to wear the safety gear. Then only you can enter the manufacturing units. Okay, this much controls that will be in place. The clocking and any mystery shoppers. People will do actually. See, I will tell you the things very clearly. When you are talking in terms of the food market, is that the mystery shoppers means they will come, they will man. Sometimes what will happen? It happens, and it happens. It is reality. It happens. People, we should not consume. Is it right? We should not consume. We should not eat. We should not eat before you bill. Fine. These are the things that happens. What will happen at the exit? There will be a scanner. Is that at the exit there will be a scanner. The moment you are taking trolley out of the exit, if something is not billed, automatically there will be a beep sound. This means you can understand what happens. You see the garments, okay? You see what happens. There will be one pin will be there. Is it right? There will be something like pin will be there. Is that you are talking about shoes? You are talking about any consumer durable goods, okay? Any durable goods. Is that any clothes, any shoes, okay? Any electronic items. Electronic items also you see. You are talking about any cables also you are purchasing. What happens? There will be a lock will be there. Is that they will remove this clip and they will bill it at the time of billing. Is that these are the things they are putting the controls so that the risk will be less. This is not exhaustive through. You may have, there are so many other control activities. Are you clear about this?
Yeah, so we will have these types of questions in the exam.
Yes, exactly. Is it right? They will, or this, if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Or it are 14, we have to understand the scenario, and according to the scenario, we have to work it. Here you have to understand. There is no memorization here.
So the deficiencies would be in the scenario and we have to highlight them, right?
Yes. Is it okay? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now, you will appreciate from the previous question that control activities vary greatly depending on the nature and size of. A national supermarket chain is likely to have more sophisticated controls. Is that the a bigger market will have more sophisticated control than a small bakery. A small entity employing few employees have less scope to use segregation of duties. He will bill. You take the bakery. Okay, you take the bakery. What will happen? He will bill. He will collect cash, and he will give the bill. Only one person will do. If you are having 3 or 4 people, the same 3 or 4 people will repeat the same activity. There is no segregation of duties as that. You must take into account the type of entity you are auditing when it comes to the exam. Internal controls is key syllabus. You are highly likely to get a question based on the scenario. You might be asked what are the internal controls. Important, you have to appreciate the type of business you are auditing. Irrelevant controls will not gain many marks. Yeah, they make it a point. It is very, very important topic. Is it? Now, what is happening? The last one, monitoring of controls. What controls are they? To a process to assess the effectiveness of internal controls. We have controls. We have CCTV camera. Okay, I will take it as an example. You have a CCTV camera, but CCTV camera there should be a recordings. See, now it is very advanced. Okay, very advanced. When you have the CCTV camera, the recordings will be not done 24 hours. There will be sensors. Okay, there will be sensors will be there. The moment there is a movement, is it a? There is a movement, the recording will start. And if there is no movement for next 5 seconds, the recording will stop. You are talking about how it is happening, is it right? The moment this is what the controls. Now when you have the CCTV cameras, you should have recordings also. As an auditor, you will verify whether the recordings is taking place or not. Because you cannot record all for 24 hours in every place. In some places where there is a movement, exit and entry, fine. There is active people who are going through it, it's fine. But everywhere you cannot have recording. You have to think in terms of your resources also. Okay, that is what it says. A process to assess the effectiveness of it includes how you are designed, how you are making, and how it is going to be operated. That is what we are monitoring the control. We will not just installing CCTV cameras is not going to achieve our objectives. When you are installing CCTV cameras, you should also have to assess on the timely basis. And if there is any deviations are there, you have to take corrective actions. Somebody will come randomly and say that yesterday something happens at 8:30 p.m. in the night. Immediately what you will do, you at that point, before 15 minutes, after 15 minutes, you will check all the recordings. Either you will check all the recordings and automatically you can track it out what's happening. Is that who could monitor the controls within the entity? Internal audit. Provide the entity has a internal audit function. Who are the people who will monitor the controls? Whose responsibility is there to monitor the control? The responsibility of monitoring controls is with respect to internal auditors. Take it from they will not ask direct question. They will flip off the question. Is that they will put some more combination and they will ask. But the responsibility of monitoring internal controls is with the internal auditors. Is it okay?
Yeah.
315 identifies that. Is that 315 identify and assess the risk of material misstatement. Is that we are identifying system through understanding the entity and its environment. Which of the following is not set out as a component of we have internal control environment is there. It is the one of the 5 components. The information system is the third component. This is the first component. Is it right? This is the first component. Is it right? This is the third component. Is it? Human resource policies or practices form part of control, okay, because you have to aware the human staff about what are the awareness of the staff is also very important. Is that if staff is not aware, staff is not know about the internal control, there is no purpose of having internal control. But they are not themselves are a component in internal control. Internal controls are there, but the human resource policies and practices is a inbuilt, okay? It is a inbuilt component of the internal control environment. What are the limitations of accounting and control systems? Is that what now you are talking about? Now we say, yes, can only provide a reasonable. You don't think that we have internal controls and we are 100% protected. Okay, I'm not taking safe. I'm using the word protected. We are not 100% protected. Okay, there will be. Is that there? What are the limitations? Definitely, cost is one of the most important element. Installing CCTV cameras is not a joke. Having a supervisor, additional cost. Is that having supervisor, additional cost? Having food inspectors, additional cost. Okay. With the moment we are talking about the measures, every control measure will have additional cost. But what in this process, what you will do, you have to do cost benefit analysis. Cost is increasing, but proportionately benefits will be more than the cost. Is it? What happens? What are there will be a human error. Is it right? We cannot say, I told you, it is not 100% protected. Is it right? There is nothing like 100% we are talking about safe. Okay? There will be chance of a error. Is it? Sometimes what will happen, there will be a collusion, understanding. Is that we cannot say there will be a understanding between the employees. If you say this is the understanding between the employees, it comes under the definition of fraud. It comes under the definition of, it is not an error, is it right? It is a fraud. Possibility of controls being overridden or bypassed by the manager. We will put controls on paper, is it right? But actual applications, is it right? Actual application, I can say actual application or actual implementation. Is it? Actual implementation will not exist, is it right? Will not exist at all. Is it? Will not exist at all. Means, fine, for the sake of controls, we will put the controls, but in practice, they will not have any controls with their at the ground level. Non-routine transaction being difficult for the system to cope up. So once odd transactions, is it? Odd transactions. Once in a while. We are building a system. It is a system which is very automated, very customized, and we are giving inputs. Only the inputs will be tested. Okay, we are not going to. If something comes out of the box, it will be very difficult. This is why auditors cannot rely on internal controls alone. This is one way of understanding. You have controls, you have test of controls. They always have to carry out some substantive procedures as well. We cannot say that yes, we have tested and controls are effective. Even the controls are effective, we will have some restrictive substantive procedures. Is it okay with you?
Yeah.
Fine. No. The use of the auditors are only interested in control activities which are relevant to financial statements. We know this. Auditors must do the following. What we have to do, auditors, you have to assess the adequacy of the system. How you are preparing the accounts. What is the source? Is that what is the source of preparation of financial statement? What is the types of potential misstatements? Is that what are the potential mistakes can be happen? Is it right? Mistake. Consider factors that what are the different factors which will influence. Is it what are the different factors which will influence the risk as such? And according to that, we have to design the procedures. Is that we have to design the audit procedures. Fine. Means what we have to do, we have to make sure that whether we have the relevant sources of preparing accounting system. Now we will say the relevant sources means the process which has been taken from the beginning till the end. What are the possible misstatements and what are the factors we have to think in terms of risk, and more importantly, as per the risk element, we have to take the audit procedures. We have to assess the audit procedure. Now, I will add another thing. They will also give one question on audit procedures. Right? When you are doing the internal controls, this is another part. Okay, this is another part. When when you are thinking about internal controls, how you will document. How the documentation will take place. Okay. In the first every chapter first there will be a diagram. Is it right? There will be a diagram. There is a flow. Is it right? That is called as a flow chart. That is called as a flow chart. There are number of methods. The auditors will record accounting and control systems in place. Everyone will have their own style. Everyone will have their own style. Every style has method is having advantage and disadvantages. Okay. This is also somewhere think about 3 marks. 3 marks. That's all. I'm not giving. I'm measuring it very precisely. Okay. 3 marks. Very easy. How? Narrative notes, flow charts. You have 2 things, internal control questionnaires and internal evaluate control. Internal control questionnaires, whether yes or no. Internal.
This question. I remember I have seen this question requesting, I think, 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of each way of documenting the control.
Yes, exactly. Is it? Exactly. I'm telling with my experience now. I'm telling with my experience. The moment wherever I put very clearly, the moment I'm putting the marks, you see the question papers, it will be there in the question papers. Is that? They will ask you any 2. Okay, they will never say, I don't think so. They will ask about specifically. I have not come across, at least to my knowledge, what I remember. They will say that any 2 documentation procedures of recording the internal control systems. Is that what is the narrative notes, flow charts, ICQ and checklist. Okay. Here we have to simple one. All are simple. There's nothing difficult I can say. Very simple. You have the moment you are working it out, it says, what is the narrative notes? You are writing notes as per your own understanding. You see, you are attending a meeting, as simple as that. You are attending the meeting. Is that people will write the notes in that recording book. You will record. Is it right? You will understand better than others. Okay, relatively simple to record, can facilitate understanding by all team members. Now, why we are doing this? The reason. See, we are talking in terms of an audit team. Okay, we are talking in terms of an audit team. We are going for an audit. It's not only one person. A team of people will go. Now, whatever is happening, everyone will have to write down the notes, and those notes should be shared if needed. Is that whatever it is needed? Fine, you have to share the notes. Now, what happens? Fine, there are some advantages, disadvantages everywhere. Is it? It will facilitate understanding by team members. This is the advantage. You are writing the notes in your own way. Is that? Now what I'm doing, if you see all my notes, it is a narrative notes. Is that? It is a narrative notes. It facilitates understanding. It is flexible. Is that? Can be used for any system. Is that? It is relatively simple to record. It can facilitate understanding by all team members. It is going to be very flexible. It can be used by any system, and you can do auditing, editing in future years. You are talking in terms of Microsoft Word. Is it right? You are talking in terms of Microsoft Word. You are putting all the notes. There is a flexibility wherever you can add, there you can edit. Is it right? You can edit, you can delete. Is it? You can modify. You have the options. Is it? You have the options. That is what the advantage is. More time consuming. Yes, people, see, there is more, you have to write as much as possible. Particularly when the system falls a logical. There is no logical flow. Is that there is nothing like that. There is no steps are there. It is all what they say, it is all the understanding. Is that? It is all the understanding that happens to our, there is no logical flow. X, Y, you cannot say that, we cannot say that. In the flow chart, I will talk about logical flow. Okay? There is what they say, if it is yes, you have to do this. If it is no, you have to do this. Is that? There is nothing like that. They are awkward to update if written manually. If written manually, I am not talking about here manually. I am talking using the Microsoft Word. Okay? Now, if it is written manually, definitely it is difficult. Now, everybody, whenever you are going for a meeting, you will take your iPad. Okay? You will take your iPad, you will write down the notes on your iPad, and you can modify, change as per that. Can be difficult to identify missing internal controls. May not identify exceptions clearly. See, fine, you cannot say it's 100% perfect. Is it right? We cannot say that. Sometimes we cannot write down all the things. Whatever we are interested in. Is that what we have to be very specific. Whatever we are interested in, we will record. Sometimes what will happen, we will skip some points also. There is a possibility. This is called as a narrative notes. Okay. Now, this is the flow chart. See the thing. It is the flow chart. What happens? It starts. This is a little bit based on information technology, IT. Is that? It is based on the information technology. If you take accounting information systems, okay, if you take accounting information system, you are talking about the computer programming. First and foremost, they will say it is a flow chart. Every chapter will have the flow chart. Is that? Every chapter. Next, I will give that example also. What will happen? You will have the start, you have the end. This is the decision box, is it right? This is the decision box, this is the processing box, is that? This is the storage box, is that? This is minister, this is what we are talking in terms of you are saving, Is it that this is we are talking in terms of processing? Is it? This is we are talking about processing. This is we are talking in terms of decisions. Is it? This is we are talking about this is likewise. You will have the fact. Some people say that this is more understandable. Is it? So for some people, narrative notes are easy to understand. For some people, flowcharts are easy to understand. Again, in the flowcharts, you have advantages and disadvantages. See, they will ask any two. It is right. They will ask any two advantages or disadvantages. Any two methods, keep it in mind. Any two methods and any two advantages and disadvantages. Is it? You have to mention two methods, advantages and disadvantages, 1, 2 and 1, 2. Can be prepared quickly. They say it's a prepared quickly. Fine. See, this all about convenience. Okay. Standard format. Decision box is there. Starting, ending is there. So easy to follow and review. Ensure system is recorded in its entirely. We are going to start. We have a start. We have a end. Stop will be there. Is it right? Eliminate need for extensive. We are very focused. Is it right? What we have to do, what we should not do. If it is yes, what is the next action? If it is no, what is the next action? Is that this is the concept of a flowchart. What are the disadvantages? Generally suitable for describing. If it is a standard systems, it will work. Is that? If it is standard systems, it will work. We cannot change. We cannot redraft. Is it right? Major just difficult. We have to, if you want to do it, we have to prepare a new flowchart. Now, is it right? Now we are having the softwares. Is it? We are having the software exclusively with respect to flowcharts, where we can redesign also. Okay, where we can redesign also. This is not our topic, but just I am giving you an explanation for that. Time wasted in charting areas of no audit significance. See what happens flowchart. Flowchart talks about the flow structure, how the flow will work. You have to go in sequence only. And as a matter of fact, it is nothing but a procedures. Is it? It is nothing. And audit is based on procedures. Is it? Audit is based on the procedures. Is that people will say it is a time wasted. Fine. We are not appreciating, nor we are not rejecting anything. Okay, we are just understanding what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. Fine. Now, this is yes.
Can you clarify the last point and the disadvantage?
Time wasted in charting areas of no significance, audit significance. Is it? Now, what happens? Assume here we don't have any audit significance. We don't need this. We don't need this process. Is that? It's not going to have any no audit significance is there. But in the flow chart we will incorporate that.
Okay.
In the incorporate we have. Now when we have incorporate in that, again we have to say if it is yes or it is no. Is it okay? Now, coming back to this, questionnaires and ICQ and ICEQ. See, you have the questionnaire. See the things. We are making questionnaires over a period of time. Okay, we will give rating scales lesser. How good is the system of controls? We'll say yes or we say no. Are we getting a complete understanding? No. We say no. There is a question mark. Is that how good is the system of control? Is a list of questions to determine whether desirable controls are present. We will say that yes, we have 5 lists. We are talking in terms of payables. Is it? When we are talking in terms of payables, we have placed the order. Is it? We have placed the order, yes or no. Is that we have received the goods received note, yes or no. That's all. We are not going beyond this. Okay, we send it to the we have checked with the inventory, yes or no. These are, we are determining the questions. We are putting the questions, and we are just focusing on what? We are only focusing on yes or no. One list of questions for each.
Who's going to answer these questions?
Pardon?
Who's going to answer these questions? The auditors, right? Not the staff.
Not
the client staff.
No, auditor will prepare. Auditor will prepare the questions. Okay, auditor will prepare the questions, placing the order. If the client has placed the order, yes or no. If the client has received GRN, is there, good received note is there or not, yes or no.
So the client is going to answer?
No, auditor will check. Auditor auditor will prepare the list, and auditor will make a checklist. Is that? Auditor will make the checklist verifying the controls of the client. Is that you, as an auditor, you will prepare this list. As an auditor, you will prepare the list. When you are preparing the list, you will go you will go to the client place, and you will see whether GRN is there or not. Goods received note. Yes, it is there. Fine. Then it is applicable for payable. You will see that whether it has been received. It has been received by the inventory department. Yes or no. Automatically you will say yes, it is received, you put yes. If it is no, you put no. As this is the documents of the auditor. This is not the documents of the by the client. Is that the use of, see, it has been very clearly mentioned, the use of internal control systems by whom? The use of internal control systems by the auditors. One list of questions for each transaction cycle, is it? For each transaction cycle, in terms of payables, in terms of receivables, in terms of cash deposit also. For each transaction cycle, you will have in terms, likewise, you will have a list of questionnaires. Auditor will prepare this list of questionnaires for their own purpose, and they will verify with the internal controls of the client. An auditor will document this by saying yes or by saying no. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Next, you are going one step ahead. Okay, you are going. What you are doing? You are evaluating. If it is no, then you have to know where things went wrong. Is that where things went wrong? Focus on when a specific errors, frauds are possible. You should not stop only when if we say it is no. If it is no, then you should come with some more details rather than establishing whether desired controls are present. We have to also key questions, isn't it? Or control question for each transaction stream. This means you are evaluating what have went wrong, what are the deficiencies. Okay, what are the deficiencies? This is the these are the four methods. Is that you have narrative notes, you have the flow charts, you have ICQ, you have the ICEQ. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what it says, internal evaluation questionnaires. See, it drafted thoroughly. They can ensure all controls are considered. You can prepare it very quickly. It is easy to use and control. Isn't it? It is easy to use because they are drafted in terms of objectives rather than specific controls. ICEQ are easier to apply to variety of systems. They prefer internal control evaluation question. Internal control questionnaires, it gives us restricted information. Internal control evaluation questionnaires, it gives some more additional information. It should enable auditors to identify the key controls which they are most likely to test during the control testing. Means auditors will prepare a questionnaire, and when they prepare the questionnaire, it will help them to conduct the process in a more easy way. ICAQ can highlight deficiencies, evaluation, where extensive substantive testing will be required. You are evaluating what's happening. Now, if by understanding this, we are going to work with ICEQ more frequently than ICQ. Is that we will do that? The questions are based. They will not mention ICEQ or ICQ there. Is that in the scenario? What we are doing? We are evaluating. In the questions, we are evaluating. Once we evaluate, and then we'll give our suggestions or recommendations. Is that we evaluate the deficiencies, identify. Is that first what we'll do? We will identify. Is that identify the deficiency, and we'll identify and describe. Then based on that, we are giving some recommendations. Is that first you have to identify it, then you have to describe and give. This is what the exam focus. And now you understand the methods are different, the applications are different. Okay, it drafted vaguely, may be misunderstood, and important controls may be missed. They will say we have to just to understand. That's all. Don't go in detail. Every method will have advantage and disadvantage. May control. They say that they control irrelevant controls. Everyone will have their own mindset. Okay. They may not include unusual controls. Unusual controls we cannot include anywhere. Is it right? Forget about here. Nevertheless, effective in particular circumstances. They can give false impression that all controls have equal weight. Again, we are not putting it on the richer scale. Is it right that we are not giving it any ranking? We are not saying that it is strongly agree or strongly disagree. We are not going in that process. And the client may be able to overstate controls. Weightage is not given. Is that what they want to say is we should know the importance. Here we are not in a position to identify the importance. Is it right? Identify or giving weightage. Is it right? Giving weightage to the controls. Is that we are putting everything in one basket, and every control we are going in a sequential order, and according to that things are moving like that. Okay. These are pardon?
How the client is going to overstate controls by using this method?
Overstate control means they will give more importance, or they will override. Okay, they either they will give more importance. Is that they give more importance, they give more significance importance. Otherwise, they will not understand. Is that they will not understand its significance. Is that they will not understand the significance. Is that the client may be able to overstate controls. Okay, fine. This is the control. We can miss one control. Fine. It doesn't make any difference. This control is not important. One control is not important. One control is important. We cannot say all controls are important. Overestimation is similar to that overestimation. Is that overestimation of some controls? Okay, fine. In simple words, what will happen? What will happen? I will give this example again and again. Is that you have to place the order? Is that you have to place the order? The rule says that you have to place the order to the approved suppliers only. You have to place the order. You have to place the order by a purchase manager only. Done. Now purchase manager is not there. What will happen? Purchase clerk will place the order. Is that you see so many questions. A purchase clerk is placing the order. They will write like that. Is that a purchase clerk is placing the order? What will happen? Is there any control is there? No, control is not there. Who has to place the order? Purchase manager has to place the order. How we have to place the order? We have to place the order as per the approved supplier list. We are placing the order. What will happen? People should not access master files. That is the controls. Or you should not access. Now you are giving discounts. Is that right? Discounts should get approved by the responsible authority. Okay. Now discounts cannot be given by the salespersons. Is that these are the things you should have controls when you are. It is a material misstatement. Is it right? It is a material misstatement. Discounts has been given by a salesperson without any authorization. Is it? Without any authorization. You are accessing master files. It is a control deficiency. Is it right? It is a control deficiency. Only a designated person should authorize have the access to the master files. Is that? These are the various examples. The moment you go in detail, you will find n number of examples where you are talking about the client may be able to overstate the controls. Is it okay?
Yeah.
What the auditors will do? Auditors, see, everybody will do this. Is that checklist? Checklist is very important. Is it right? Checklist. We will do. Yes, some you will have so many times to do. Is that every day people will write what are the things to do and what are the things at the end of the day, what are the things that are in pending. Is that there is a checklist? We will say as an auditor also, it's a part of your planning process. Is it right? It is part of your audit planning process. You should know what are the things you have to cover up during the client's visit. Is it? So what are the statements you have to make? Tick boxes used to indicate statements hold true, and share many advantages and disadvantages with the questionnaires. You have the checklist. When you have the checklist, you say that yes, what we have to do. You have to tick whether we have done it or not. What are you will put your comments, and what are the many advantages, what are the positive things and what are the negative things, what are the deficiencies. What are the strengths? Is it right? What are the strengths and what are the deficiencies? Identify this. Again, in the examination, they will ask you this. Questions are there. Is that? The strengths and deficiencies. Identify 2 strengths and 2 deficiencies. They will not focus more on strengths, but they will focus more on deficiencies. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it? Now, once you have done this, is it with respect to the narrative, with narrative notes, flow charts, ICQ, ICEQ, once you have documented the control, they need to test the controls, whether the controls they can rely on them. This is the next stage. What is the next stage? You will see test of control. In the test of controls, one of the method is you will do a walk-through test. You do a walkthrough test. Now, what is the walkthrough test is nothing but you are practically you are in place. Is it right? You are in place in the client's environment. Is it right? What you will do? Assume there is a entry, there is a exit. Is it right? The moment if you are going to any government offices, is it right? What they will do? They will issue a temporary card. Temporary, and they will say a restricted card. Is that to enter? Is that to enter after reception? At the reception they will give you a temporary and restricted card. With the restricted card, you can access to restricted floors only. They say that you have to go to the 4th floor. They will give access to the 4th floor only. Is that now you have these systems? Is that what you are doing? You will take a temporary card and you will follow the sequence. You will follow the sequence. You reach the place and again you will come back and you will make an exit. Inventory count, you will have walkthrough test. Plant and equipment, you have a walkthrough test. Is that walkthrough? Sales, there is a walkthrough test. Inventory, you are receiving inventory, you will observe. Is that you will observe how the inventory is received. You will observe how the inventory is counted. Before the count, during the count, after the count. Is that you will observe each and everything, you will observe walkthrough test. Okay, that is follow the transactions through the systems to see if all the controls they think that should be in existence operated for the transactions. I gave a simple example, is it right? I gave a simple example of this, that you are talking about the entry and exit. You will see, you will go to the client place, you will ask for a card, they will issue the card, you will see that whether the exits and entries are working effectively or not. This is called as a walkthrough test. Yeah. Next, what desktop controls is that are performed. We are just revising it to obtain the audit evidence about the effectiveness. Okay, design. We are revising this. Design of accounting and internal control systems. Whether it has been designed to prevent. Is that whether we have made the internal controls to prevent, to detect, and to make corrections. See why you are putting internal controls in place to prevent, detect, and correct material misstatements. Operation of internal controls throughout the period. We are not saying that internal controls will be every day. It is a part of the system. Is that every activity, every transaction, in the same procedure should work. We should not say that once in a while we do. Remember, desktop controls are not designed to detect. Desktop controls means we are testing that controls. Is it right? We are not designed to detect the material mistake. The purpose of substantive test, when you are doing the substantive test, it will detect the material misstatements. Differentiate these two things. Okay, differentiate these two things. The first thing is desktop controls are not designed to detect. Which one is designed to detect material misstatements? It is the substantive test. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Whenever you want to stop, you tell me, only for today. But from next class onwards, we'll have full 2 hours. Okay? What audit procedure? Simple things. Now nothing. Now you have to understand, revise. That's all. You have to understand. You have to revise. What audit procedures can auditor use to get evidence? About the controls, okay? What you will do, you will make an inspection of documents, you will do inquiries about controls, you will re-perform control, we will do again the control procedures, and most importantly, you will make an observations.
So when we inspect the documents to review the controls, for example, we will verify the goods received notes and these, right? The purchase orders.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? Now, inspection of documents. Is it right? When inspection, we are saying that yes, you are placing the order. Are we having the approval or not? You are placing the order. We are placing the order as for the approved suppliers or not. We are inspecting both sides. See, this is what it happens. You are going from to the back and you are going to the front. What is the source document and what is the next document? Both should have verified. Okay, you should have, not only you should have an approval, but also you should also have a approved suppliers. Is that the moment? That is what placing the order. Inquiries about the internal controls. Yes, when you are placing the order, is it right? When they are placing the, whether the approvals has been there, is it right? We have what you are doing. You are reviewing the documents. Is it right? Your inquiry. You will say that whether the approvals are there. Is it whether they have taken the approvals from the respective authorities or not? Re-performance means we will do the same. You are doing re-performance in terms of inventory. Is it in terms of cash? Is it in terms of inventory? In terms of cash? Is that whether we will see whether the cash counting procedures has been performed? Is that whether inventory received? You are receiving the inventory, goods received note. Is that you have goods received note and goods dispatched note also. Is that goods dispatched notes also? GDN. This is with respect to sales and this is respective with purchases.
For the bank reconciliation, we can use it to verify and review the internal controls, and we can use it for substantive procedures as well, right?
Which one?
Bank reconciliation. For both, we can use it, right?
Again, please tell.
Bank reconciliation, we can use it to review the internal controls and for substantive procedures, right?
Yes. Bank reconciliation. Bank reconciliation, we will also do a re-performance also. Is it right? We also do the we will just go through the process of bank reconciliation, how it has been done, and we will come to any opinion also on that. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Observations means what? See, whenever there is a inventory count, is that these are the things you will come across, okay? Whenever there is an inventory count, what you will observe? Whether inventory count is done as per the instructions given. Is that inventory count instructions will be there. As per the instructions, the inventory count is taking place or not. Is that you will make you will observe the process. Is that now? What it says, document internal control. You have walkthrough test. Is that walkthrough test? What is the reliability and what is not reliable? test of, if it is reliable, test of controls, and it will reduce substantive procedures. Is that if walkthrough test, what will happen? If it is reliable, definitely it will be reduced substantive procedures, restricted procedures. Is it right? If test of controls are effective, is it right? If test of controls are effective, is that we will do reduce restricted substance. We have used, don't get confused. In the way what we have done, we have restricted substantive procedure. If the test of controls walkthrough test is not reliable, means we are not convinced about it, that walkthrough test, we are not getting sufficient and appropriate evidence. Is that we are not getting a sufficient and appropriate evidence. If we are not getting sufficient and appropriate evidence, then we will do full substantive approach. In the examination, they will not ask a restricted or fully substantive procedures. They will only ask, I am very, very clearly about this, they will ask only substantive procedures. That they will ask only substantive procedure. They will never ever ask restrictive or substantive procedure.
So we have to evaluate the controls. They're effective or not, right? And
yes.
Then we will decide.
See what we are doing. This is the substantive approach. Is it right? We are going. See, this is what we are talking about. We are what is the substantive procedures? You will see what is, whether when we are placing the order, whether approval is there and whether approved supply. This is one of the substantive procedures. When you are talking about any you take about cash, okay? You are talking about the cash. What will say? First you will say whether the closing balances has been carried forward to as a opening balances. In the end, what you will do? You will review the bank reconciliation statement. It is a substantive procedure. In the end, what you will do? If there is anything is there, you will ask return confirmation from the management. Is it? It's easy. I am telling you now, the substantive procedures, I will by the time we go for examination, I will make things that it is going to be very, very easy for us. Only thing, substantive procedures, you have to follow the sequence. You have so many sequences are there. What my point of what I told you and what I am going to do it repeatedly again and again is that you are missing something here, fine. That's okay. But you should not take this in the beginning and this in the end. You should not shuffle the sequence. Is it right? You are missing the sequence, fine. But shuffling the sequence, it doesn't make sense.
When we say review bank reconciliation, it means re-performance or recalculation or what?
Re-performance. We are not doing any recalculations. Is it right? We are just reviewing. We will say that who has done the bank reconciliation, how the bank reconciliation has been done. For accuracy purpose, mathematical accuracy purpose, we do recalculation. For depreciation, we do recalculation. For depreciation, we do recalculation. But for bank reconciliation, we do re-performance.
We can say we have to follow re-performance, a method for depreciation, because re-performance includes recalculation as well.
How you are framing the sentence is also important. Is that how we are framing the sentence? See, in depreciation we can do re-performance, in depreciation we can do recalculation.
Yeah, but re-performance, it means recalculation as well, right?
Yes. Re-performance is part of recalculation. We are focusing more on accuracy, mathematical accuracy. Re-performance, which method we have re-performance talks about which method we are using. Is it re-performances we are comparing with the previous year. Is it what we have done in the previous year and what we are doing in the current year. Is that recalculation is with respect to the mathematical accuracy. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Once the auditor, I will 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm checking. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, we'll stop where we'll stop. We'll start internal in here. We will stop. Okay, we'll cover this internal controls in the computerized environment. We'll start from there. Okay, before the 1, 2, and 3. Once auditor documented, okay, auditors documented and tested the system, they might find there are weaknesses in the system. See, this is the most important part, okay? Identify the weaknesses, deficiencies, and give suggestions. These weaknesses are also known as deficiencies. These weaknesses is also known as deficiency. We are supposed to focus on this area. We have to focus on this area only. I can put very clearly. Only? Auditors have responsibility regarding these auditors' responsibility in internal controls. What is the rule it says? What is the standard? You have to communicate deficiencies in internal controls to those charged with governance and management. This is exam focused.
In the exam, can we just mention the number of ISA?
In the exam?
Can we just mention the number of ISA instead of writing the full name?
I don't suggest that, okay? I don't. See, if you are writing, write full. If you are not writing, just leave it. Okay? If you are you write, you remember this. If you remember completely, fine. If you don't write ISA 265 and just leave like that only. When you are saying, if you don't know this one, I'm not saying that it's very difficult, is it right? It is little bit difficult to remember so many standards. But if you remember 265, some are there. Just give me space. By the end of this month, I will make sure that we will be in a position to, while revising, we will make sure that we will remember as many things as possible. Okay, we will make sure that but when you are writing, there are only two things: write in full or don't write. Okay. Now, audit. We are doing this. Auditors must communicate significant deficiencies. If you refer the questions. If you refer any question, okay, if you refer any exam question, in an exam question, they will say, identify significant deficiencies and give recommendations. This is the question they are going to happen, is it right? Identify significant deficiencies. The significant deficiencies will be in corporate governance. The significant deficiencies will be in inventory, the significant deficiencies will be in controls, anywhere it will be there. Anywhere it will be there. It will cover a general question. Okay? Identify the deficiencies and you have to communicate this to the management. Give recommendations. This is what we have to focus from examination point of view. What is now? There are two things are there. One is deficiency, one is significant deficiency. What is the deficiency? Deficiency control, when the control is designed, implemented or operated in such a way that it is unable to prevent. Is it right? This is the deficiency. Unable to prevent, detect and correct material misstatements. What is the deficiency? When you are designing the internal control, is it? It is when a control is designed, implemented or operated in the way it is unable to prevent. What is significant deficiency? This is independent. Is it that? This is independent. And this is what? This is dependent. Is a combination of deficiencies. Understand point? This is what? This is a combination of deficiencies. Yeah, means you are deficiencies is only one. There something is happening one fine. But what will happen? Assume you are talking in terms of cash. Is that you are talking in terms of cash? No segregation of duties. No segregation of duty is there. Is it right? It is a significant deficiency. Because what happens? You will have a combination of deficiencies. Is right? You have a combination of deficiencies. Means one person is, we are collecting the cash, one person is counting the cash, recording the cash, depositing the cash, doing the bank reconciliation. It is a significant deficiency. Is it right? It is a significant deficiency. Again, I am saying this. In the examination, they will ask what are the significant deficiencies. A combination of deficiencies that in the auditor's professional judgment is sufficient important to merit the attention of the management. Collaborated. Is it right? Collaborated. I can put that. There should be understanding. Somewhere we have covered this. I will go back to that point, and here we have covered at some point, okay? Where in the beginning we have done. Is that in the beginning we have done? Where is that? Yeah. Is it right? Where it is there? Analysis, safety, checks, mystery shoppers, no, somewhere it is there. Controls, periodic in my computer, weekly, bank, no. Somewhere I have written fraud. Now, where I have written fraud? Somewhere I have written fraud. Where is that? Yeah, here. See, collusion between employees. Okay, so here I have written the things. Collusion between employees. This is a significant deficiency, is it right? If it is a significant deficiency as such. Is that it is a significant, if you have a collision, but it's not a one deficiency, it is having a multiple deficiencies. Is that if that is the case, we have to say that it is a significant deficiency. Okay, this is now you make it a point, revise it once again. Okay, you should understand what is significant deficiency. It is unable to detect the material statements on a timely basis. Where is significant deficiency? It is a deficiency or a combination of deficiency. Fine, or a combination of deficiency. The evaluation of so how does auditor will judge whether it is a deficiency, whether the deficiency is deficiency or it is a significant. Is it right? How the auditor will come to a conclusion. Fine. Here are some of the auditor's must. The likelihood of the deficiency resulting material statements in the financial statements in the future. Is it? Likelihood of the deficiency resulting means if it is going to be repeated again and again. Is it? If it is repeated again and again. One time, fine. One time is an error. But it's happening again if you are not, you don't have any control. When you don't know control is there. And because of that, what will happen? Things will go again and again. Repeatedly it will happen. Then it is going to be a likelihood of this resulting in material misstatements. It will happen in future also. It is a significant deficiency. The susceptibility to loss or fraud. Is it right? If something happenings to the asset, fraud, it is a significant deficiency. The subjectivity and complexity, is it right, of determining if material misstatements, is that means the amount is big, is that it is more complex transactions, is it right, the amount is big, it is more complex transaction, it is only a judgment, okay, then we should say it is significant. If it is highly material misstatement, is it the amount exposed to the deficiency, is it the amount exposed to the deficiency is it matters, is it, it is a material, then it is a significant deficiency. The volume of activity that could occur, number of times the error is happening, is it is a significant deficiency, is it means you will not have any controls, that is the reason it's happening again and again. The importance of controls in the financial reporting process. If you are not making awareness, is that this is what happened. If you have to create awareness of controls among the staff, if there is no awareness of the controls among the staff, it is a significant deficiency. If the cause and frequency of the exceptions identifies the result of this, means if frequency again, what is the reason, is it right, what is the reason, cause, what is the logic. If the frequency is happening time again and again, not only activity but frequency, then it is a significant. The interaction between deficiency with other deficiencies means if you don't have internal controls in one place, is that what is the audit risk we say? In the audit risk we say it is an inherent risk. Is that inherent risk? What is the audit risk? We say it is a control risk. It is a control. What we are saying, we are going to say it is a detection risk. Interaction, is that one control is not there. You are entering a premises, is that you are entering the premises, you are entering without any controls. What will happen? Subsequently, other controls are not effective. You are placing the order, is that you are placing the order without any approval. What will happen? Subsequently, there will not be any controls. We assume that we have placed the order with approval. automatically the next level, subsequent levels, we are going through it. Means the interaction, the the link from one control to another controls are ineffective. These are the reasons. Is that these are the examples of the whether we should come to a judgment that deficiencies are significant or not.
When we say placing order without approval, it means inherent risk or control risk?
It is a control risk, no? When you are placing the order, is it right? When you are placing the order, inherent risk means what is the, when we are talking about inherent means it is inbuilt, is it right? Inbuilt. Inherent means the risk is there. The risk is that has been existed in the system as a control risk means we don't have the process where we are going to go backwards, nor we are going to have the forward thing. 1 minute. Where we have covered the control risk?
No, I thought placing order without approval is inherent risk, and placing an order without appropriate approval is control risk. But both are under control risk.
Both are under audit risk.
Okay.
Is it? What it says now, the thing, the auditors must communicate significant deficiencies in writing. Okay? It includes, we have to make a description of deficiencies and we give explanations. Include sufficient information to the charged with governance to understand what we are doing. We have to communicate to the people who are charged with governance. Auditors can include recommendations also. They can state that more deficiencies may have been identified, that auditors, see, this is a general conclusion. If they are asking a question in the form of report, if they are asking the question in the form of report, what we have to, this is the points, this is the one point we have to note it down. The auditors can say that the above deficiencies are only few if we have taken a more extensive procedures on internal control. Some more reported deficiencies need not, no, some of the reported need not have been reported. They can state that more deficiencies may have been identified had the auditor undertaken more extensive procedures on internal control. Make it a sentence one. Is that make, or that some of the report need not have been reported, means you are keeping the space open. Is that you are keeping, they will ask you to identify 4 deficiencies. They will ask you to identify 5 deficiencies, and they will ask you to give recommendations. Definitely, we have done, if you remember somewhere previously, when we are revising the questions, we will revise we will identify the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points we will identify. When you are identifying the points, they will ask only 4, but we have to write only 4. Even you have identified 7, we should not write 7. Okay. Now then we have to mention here is that more deficiencies may have been identified had the auditor taken a more extensive procedures on internal controls. Fine. They can include a statement that the written communication is for the purpose of those charged with governance and may not be suitable for other purposes. Means for specific things, they can take the written communication from the people who are charged with governance.
What do you mean not suitable for other purposes?
Means not we are asking for a specific. We are asking the written communication for inventory. We are asking written communication for payables. This is only a very restricted written communication. It is not a written communication for overall other things also. It is not suitable for other purpose. It is only we are asking only for inventory. We are asking only for payables. We are asking only for receivables. It applies only to receivables. Is right? It may not be suitable for other purposes also. We are asking the only for cash and bank. We cannot use this written communication for any other purposes. Means any other purposes, any other audit procedures also we cannot use it. Is that we cannot say that yes, we have taken written communication for one specific thing and we can substitute this written communication and we can use it. When you are asking written communication, the written communication should be very, very specific for a specific purpose. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. We'll stop here. Okay.